everyone, and welcome to Community Spotlight, exclusively here on RCN. Glad you could join us. I'm Dan Mowdy. Well, the question still remains out there throughout eastern Pennsylvania. Where do you find the best gyro? Well, we have the answer for you. It is at St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Cathedral, and from the dates of May 17th through the 20th, that is the time for their wonderful Greek food festival. We're very happy to have with us our leadoff batters to talk a little bit about both the church and the festival that's coming up. We have Courtesy of RCN joining us today. He is the parish councilman who will tell us a little bit about all that's going on there with the Greek festival. Welcome.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for having us.
Sure thing, Kostas. We also have with us Pete Dektis. He is on the Greek Food Festival Committee. He is the chairperson for that committee. That's an awesome responsibility you've got there, Pete. Welcome to Community Spotlight.
Thank you very much. It's a lot of work, but we love doing it.
And thanks for bringing a menu along. We will definitely spend a little bit of time with that here today. And leading the charge is the priest, Father Alexandros Petridis. He is the second priest for this wonderful institution that is located at 1607 West Union Boulevard in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Almost the epicenter of the Lehigh Valley, I think. It's pretty much central to all that goes on here.
It is, absolutely. Yeah, and when we look at the map, you know, it spreads all over from Easton to Allentown, but we like being in Bethlehem right by the star.
Absolutely. Well, Father Alexei, welcome to Community Spotlight.
Thank you for having us.
Before we talk about the festival, let's talk a little bit about both the culture and the religion, which to me seem to go hand in hand.
Absolutely. Well, if we look back at the history of our church, one of the reasons we even have a church is because of Bethlehem. So many of the immigrants right around the 1900s came over to Ellis Island, and Bethlehem Steel was just a couple-hour train ride away. And we, being Greeks, we had to follow the crowd to serve them food. So the first Greek bachelors came over to work in the steel factory itself. And shortly thereafter, families followed and loved ones. And in 1916, St. Nicholas was incorporated on the south side of Bethlehem.
Fantastic. So the south side, which is instrumental in the development of the church, and I remember hearing from historians that oftentimes you could pick an intersection on the south side of Bethlehem and there would be three Christian churches, all speaking different languages.
Absolutely.
Our church started on 4th Street in Bethlehem when it was first incorporated. It was right by Bethlehem Steel, and that's centrally located to where most of the members of the church were living at the time. A lot of them worked at Bethlehem Steel. They lived nearby, and our church was on 4th Street in Bethlehem until 1961.
Fantastic. And was it a case of the eldest male or maybe the patriarch of the family coming to America and sending funds back home?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
3 times
most families, you know, can share stories to that effect. My grandfather came here and then sent money back home and brought the rest of the family over, and they immigrated through Ellis Island. So a lot of Greeks have that same story, and many of them through Bethlehem Steel.
So a rich tradition in the building of America, the Greek tradition here in the USA. And as far as St. Nicholas goes, such a rich tradition and history there too.
Absolutely. Well, the saint himself coming from Asia Minor, and many of the first Greeks that came to work were from Asia Minor. And so they brought their love of St. Nicholas with them. And I think it's interesting to note too that many people came with the intentions of going back home, but they made such rich lives here. So many young men bachelors came, and they would stay in these boarding houses run by Greek families and have a Greek cooked meal. They'd even swap out beds, so they had a 12-hour shift. They'd come home and sleep, and the guy would go and work. And after a couple of years of that, as all the hard work paid off, they were able to spread their wings, married, settled down.
Fantastic.
And back then, Bethlehem Steel was running 3 shifts a day. There were restaurants all over the place, most of them run by Greeks over on the south side of Bethlehem, and it was just a booming community over there.
Absolutely. And I would imagine, you know, with the lamb that we're so used to seeing in any place that serves a good gyro, that might have been like the first entree into the fast food world. I would imagine a gyro that you could take with you would be a benefit back in the steel days.
The Greeks invented everything.
That's it.
We all know that.
A tremendous part of civilization, absolutely, going way back, even for the Olympics, going back to the original Olympics. Let's talk a little bit about the church church itself and the beautiful icons that people are just bedazzled with whenever they first step into the church.
Yeah, it's a jewel that many people that come to the festival, they see let's go take a church tour, and they walk in and they say, wow, I had no idea from the outside that this is what it looked like. And so we encourage people, when they come, after they're done with their food, go down and take a look at the church. Hopefully there's a tour going on. The iconography in our church is very symbolic of not only a reminder, but it's proof of the incarnation for us, that this was a real God-man, a real human being that lived. And when we look at the example of all the saints that we have on the walls, we're inspired, we're encouraged. It also shows the intention of this community that the iconography was important to them. It's not a cheap thing to cover the entire cathedral in iconography, and has a very profound impact on our worship.
Some wonderful artistry, too. I mean, it is very...
In one hand. One iconographer over 15 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Today, with ministries and programs, it's a very busy place, not just for the Greek Food Festival, but year-round. There's plenty going on.
Absolutely. We look at the church as a hospital in the sense that we are absolutely a community center. It brings those with the Greek, not only the Greek tradition, but the Orthodox faith together. But there's a program going on at all times, from 1-year-olds or from birth to the senior citizens. And in fact, our senior citizens, they're probably the largest group in our church. We have about 100 that meet every month for senior citizens luncheon. They take trips and other things like that. So
fantastic. I'm gonna go through the list here. Yeah. Feel free to season it a little bit here. The ministries include the youth groups, the Ladies Society.
The Philoptochos, yep.
I'm glad you can say that. I was trying. I was practicing. The Greek school, Sunday school, of course, seniors, the missions. The Sunday school has expanded, too, since its origins. I understand that you originally had it for the preschoolers, and it's gone all the way now through high school.
Yeah, so Sunday school, we actually started 2 years old. You know, we have a 3-pronged youth ministry program where we have the education portion on Sunday mornings. We also have the youth groups, which meet throughout the course of the year on a Friday night or Saturday afternoon, sometimes midweek. That's where they get to engage in their faith, form friendships in this. Then we have a wonderful Metropolis summer camp program out in Mercer, Pennsylvania.
Fantastic.
So our whole thing is, by the time they graduate, they should know what it feels like to be a parishioner. Try and give them that responsibility.
Fantastic. And the church does a great job in maintaining the culture, the Greek culture, and the central meeting.
We have Greek school that meets once a week, actually twice a week. That we have a Greek school program that goes on, and there's close to 100 kids that participate in that.
Yeah, there was
learning the Greek language and culture and traditions in that class.
And there's also a Romaic school.
Yeah.
And for further education beyond the Greek school, and almost having the Greek as a second language, a lot stronger within the community.
You know, the early Greeks, they had such a strong need to teach their children the language, especially to be able to communicate. And so we have a really rich history of a Greek school, but this concept of a Romaic school, arts, cultures, and dance. So we have Byzantine chant classes through this Romaic school, New Testament Greek classes, which is not what we speak every day, through the Romaic school, and an adult dance class.
Fantastic. We're going to take a quick break here. There's so much to the culture, so much to the religion, and then there's that menu we were talking about as well. We're going to get to all of that here. Stay with us here on Community Spotlight.